story to start off this conversation. Because I got nothing. This has been a boring week.
All
Nope.
eyes on you, hun.
Eating chicken.
I'm still having trouble connecting to Roll20.
Yes, you
Hey,
are, Barrett.
so
Okay.
tell us what you learned about Roll20 becoming a Discord activity. When does that happen?
I don't know, but that does seem really neat.
That does seem really neat.
Sav and I were talking about it because I saw the reminder of, oh right, there's like audio and video integrated into Roll20, and nobody uses it. Just forget that. We'll just use Discord. And it got to the point where, yeah, we'll just integrate it into Discord, I guess. Fine, whatever. So I'm really curious to see if that system sticks around in Roll20, or if they just realize, like, nah, nobody's using this anymore. We'll save the bandwidth.
We use
So
the cameras, and we like that quite a bit on our Sunday game, but I do not like their voiceover. Discord just does it better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm literally looking at the first paragraph, and it says for Roll20 Pro subscribers, they will get exclusive beta access to it, like for testing and whatnot, next week on April 30th.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2 weeks, we mayhaps be able to give it a try.
Yeah.
I do not know what my level of Roll20 subscription is. I bet it's not enough to get that.
Mine's baseline, which means they just sell my personal data.
Mine's free. I don't know what I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, it's free.
Yeah, we pay with our personal data,
Yeah.
which I think everyone does, but we don't pay with our money
That's
either.
That's true. Nothing is free if
I'm
you're using something on the digital
Actively DMing at least 3 games a year. I
Mhm.
have a pro subscription.
Oh,
Yeah,
everyone.
I have to pay 2 because I just have too many tokens and maps and junk in here.
It was fine until they were like, when they tell you, oh, you can have like 15 saved art asset maps and a library of over 1,000 handouts. And you're like, oh, that's like a ton, no problem. And like, end of campaign 1, you're full.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, that's not enough.
Then you start doing like I could just delete some of it, and then like just nitpicking nerd in you goes, nah, I can't. I love all of them too much. They're all my
Right?
children.
All of these tokens are memories of mine. Oh my gosh, I just scrolled down to prove my own point, and then I saw a bunch of stuff. I was like, oh my gosh, I remember this. I can't do that. Man, I have like 500 tokens that are just portraits of 16th century Spanish people.
That's amazing.
How many tokens do you have for Racklin specifically?
I'm still sitting at just 3. No, let me double check that. I might have a 4th one now. Oh, that's a duplicate. Okay, so yeah, just 3. Okay, well, it sounds like we've got everybody here at least in spirit, and I'm sure Foob will figure this out in the next 5 or so minutes.
Yeah.
No way he
No.
screws that up.
I got it
so,
here.
Hey, we did it.
Woo-woo!
So I'm gonna have somebody volunteer to give our debrief of what happened last time.
We talked to a bunch of people, and
That's true.
we didn't fight anybody.
Yeah, we talked a lot.
That's also true.
A lot of.
And that's about all I remember, because we didn't fight anybody.
But we wanted to test out the new weapons and throw some shade on the god, but then Rayun made friends with him.
Maybe. I didn't.
And I really spoke very poorly of his lady friend. Not a fan.
Yeah. Although, in fairness, it seems like she's not too big a fan either.
Nope. She does not like me.
If memory serves, there was a lady fight while I was talking with the god.
We're going to throw down at some point. It's going to happen.
Right now.
I would
Can we do it
love
right
to
now?
see it.
It's because I forgot that I wasn't playing my warrior character and I was playing a bard. But she carries big Oni energy with her.
Great.
Big Oni energy.
Big
I love
Oni
it.
energy, and she just wants to
That's some real multiple personality disorder stuff, though. Like, all right, fine, arm wrestle. You're some tiny little elf person.
That's
You're like,
exactly.
yeah, sure, whatever, dude.
Yeah, she's like, ping, just gonna flick me. That's okay. I don't care.
I remember we may have inadvertently screwed Knight of Dreams over out of meeting his hero and god.
But we fixed it because he was on his way with the food when we were
Oh,
departing.
that's right. We did make it.
Mhm.
We did make
Yes.
it better.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't sure if that was still on our to-do list.
No. We made it.
If
we made it
anything,
good.
he can thank us.
Serious.
It's
Uh,
we're the reason he got to go there
I'm
I
pretty
don't know
sure
how that
he'll
one
thank
works.
because we took it away from him and then we graciously gave it back.
That's
us.
Sorry, I'm playing an evil playthrough on my BG3 game this time,
yeah.
and that's just kind of seeping through right now because I've been playing it a lot.
Based on that logic, I'm really curious on how you see income tax. Right? Because that's just the government
I'm
taking all your
I
money.
guess I'm saying from my character point of view or from my point of view.
I mean, it sounds like they're kind of the same right now.
We're being recorded, so maybe not.
That's fair.
Probably smart.
My to-do list at this point in the game is determine what weapon is required to kill a god, acquire weapon, hire Talic Bluntblade, no goblemo, one-shot them all.
Nice.
Man, guys, remember Talic? Jeez,
Yeah. No goblemo.
man. I wonder what happened to him.
He's still
Wonder how
here.
he's doing.
He's hanging out with us.
We left him in Satir, didn't we?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's with us.
he is super not with you guys.
Hey.
In my heart, he's always.
Listen, if we all just pretend to gaslight Zell into letting him be here with us, maybe Zell would have forgotten.
We could send a ship, although we should probably interview Andromeda now that she's with us to find out what she's learned and what's going on.
Yeah, we'll get to Andromeda because like we're still in the like freeze frame of we haven't quite restarted time yet.
Yep.
And I just want to add because there are a lot of things you could gaslight me on as an omnipotent GM. But I was just recently thinking about Talic of like, wow, yeah, that storyline sure didn't go anywhere at all, did it?
Always
I
in
believe
our
the last time
I don't
Last time
think I
we
can
saw
gaslight
him-
you on anything, but I still want to try.
I invite you to. The last time we saw Talic, they were dropped off at their master's office by Holden, and Holden and their master was like, I can't really read the situation too well, so I'm just gonna leave. And then Holden left, and I was like, all right, we'll see if anything comes of that. And it didn't.
He says he's fine. That guy swore he was on the level. It was a decent insight check. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. So, as far as other things that happened in the last session, we'll just clean that up, and then we'll get back to what's going on. Because some stuff is happening right this second. First things first, on the list of many people that you guys talked to was Mortavio. Mortavio's in the city, and the party went and had a quick chat with him, mostly to see like, all right, well, what services can you offer and how reasonable are they? And his response was, I don't know, I murder people. Why don't you tell me what you want me to do and I'll do it?
Mm-hmm.
And there was some like brief insinuation that I could hear amongst the party of like, I don't know, could you just like go find the bad guy and kill him for us? And he was like, no, that's not how that works. You have to give me a plan at least.
He's going to create our diversion. Although
That's very possible.
the diversion was
I'm pretty
so
sure
we
that
could get Andromeda, and now we have her. So
Yeah. So he's just waiting in the wings, seeing what's going to happen. I think at one point he did mention that he was kind of hoping to sweep in at the last minute and save the day. But
I hope he stabs that lady you're having a fight with.
I am probably going to need his help to kill her.
Or seduce her and then slowly kill her with syphilis.
Ugh.
Oh, that too. There you go.
maybe some other disease. He's pretty good with blood.
Hepatitis.
let's see. So then,
AML.
the next people you guys talked to were as person was you got in contact with Celebron because you had an appointment to call him from across the world using the dinner bell. You talked to him for a good couple minutes, asked him a lot of things about the pantheons and how they worked, figured out how Telemar was doing, and he's like, I don't know, nobody's here. You also did finally ask about the Golden Dagger pin after almost missing that opportunity for like the third time. And his response was, wow, actually, yeah, I've never seen that. Hold on, I'm going to have to do some research, but I'll get back to you as fast as I can. He did say that his book that helps him tell you what gods there are only has the 1,000 gods that are in the Pantheon, but it doesn't include gods that may be applying to the Pantheon or have fallen out of favor. So it's got to do some research. There are a lot of gods, he says. Then you went back and got your disguises from Primrose, and the next morning, yes, stole Night and Dreams' life goal for a few minutes. I got worried and had a pleasant conversation with Telemar. That was lovely. I enjoyed that very much. There was definitely no weird Ice Queen in the room at all. Everybody was just having a great time. And Savi was there too. The biggest part of that conversation was that Telemar was effectively told, hey, you have our Sphinx hostage, give her back. And his response was, oh, do I? Yeah, sure, here you go. And he summoned Andromeda. She appeared, and he's like, yeah, you're free, go on, shoot. All of her bindings came off, and she was escorted out by most of the party. Raven stopped and had a quick chat with the god for a few minutes, but meanwhile, Mira and Savi had words. Quiet enough that we went to another channel.
And all they saw was me try to slap her.
Yeah. Which, try to slap her is definitely the best way to describe that.
Yep.
Because it was not successful.
Nope.
Man, that would be like trying to slap Jackie Chan. You saw Racklin was at the end of the hallway. So once Savi had passed and Jabix and Night and Dreams came by with the new food after someone, Racklin, ruined the first attempt at breakfast. You guys met back up with your administrator, and he took you back to his office, and I definitely didn't forget to move that scene for like 10 minutes. When you did, you four, plus Racklin and Andromeda, debriefed a little bit. He gave you, effectively, the button for here's how you accuse someone, which is, hey, get a hold of me and tell me who you're accusing, and I'll go round up some administrators so that we could properly arrest them. And then at the end of the session, like the last thing that happened was, all right, cool, everybody's feeling pretty good. Why is Andromeda getting ready to attack Tyrus? Just out of nowhere, claws up, like ready to strike. But she caught herself, I guess, and started tearing up and slinking back.
She needs help.
The last thing she said, and I think the cliffhanger we ended that session on was, I think there's something wrong with me. And so we're going to pick up there. Now the room has gotten very uneasy as Racklin is looking over the party, and Andromeda has slunk into the corner of his office, like curled up with her head in her knees and her arms around her head. You don't think there's no insight required to tell that she is trying not to sob and failing kind of miserably at it.
Aww, poor Andromeda.
It's it's Racklin that speaks up first. I think there's something I might need to attend to. If there's anything you need here, let me know. But I'll give you guys some peace and quiet for a few minutes. I'll be right outside. And you don't even hear the footsteps of him walking beyond his door. It sounds like he has walked out of the room and then just is standing outside the door.
Tyrus doesn't know really how to react to that. He grew up in the wilderness, and so he's just used to feral animals trying to attack him. So like, it's just another day.
Mhm.
So he doesn't know really how to like ask what's wrong. So he's not going to do that.
Okay, that's fair. And I should stress, because I had to think about it and I've given some slight unclear descriptions, that yes, in the previous session she like reared up to attack, claws out and stuff, but didn't actually strike at you or anything.
Good, because I'm a mandated reporter.
Ooh, yeah, that's a problem. But yeah, she attempts a few times over the next like 20-30 seconds to try and get a coherent statement out. You hear definitely a couple things that sound like that she's starting to apologize or say what's going on, but she never gets more than 2 or 3 words out before choking up on another sob. It probably takes about a full minute for her to get enough composure for her just to say, I don't really know what to do now.
How did you come to be enslaved by them? What happened?
When did it happen?
She, it sounds like maybe just talking about something other than what just happened might be helpful. And she, like, looks like she's deep in thought for a second or two. Her brow furrows and stuff, and she kind of focuses in on it. We spoke at Ranmar's lab that I was going to go to offer my services to Telmar to spy on him for you. And so I did. I went right away to the guild hall and found, well, the herald and her retinue, and I offered my services, and immediately, right away, the bindings, the collar, it was almost immediate.
What did the collar do?
I'm not positive, but it felt ceremonious more than anything. Like just I think I was a pet. I got instructions almost immediately to be silent, to just be just stand there and be pretty. And I couldn't talk after that. She chokes up for a second, but powers through to add, I'm sorry, I didn't do a very good job of spying, I guess. And before that, I got imprisoned by my own father, so I've really done just the worst job. Thank you for helping, being patient, I guess.
Tyrus is just gonna like awkwardly like pat her on the head.
Girl.
And then he's just like not subtly at all. He's just like, so did you find anything out while you were spying? And it's like in the most awkward way of saying it too. So like he's not trying to be like dead ass, mean or anything. He's just straight up just like, I don't know how to handle my emotions, so I'm just gonna change the subject.
You see like a couple of emotions flicker. One of them is actually like, for just a second, you know, why don't you give me an insight check before I just give you?
I hope I fail it. Perfectly average.
Yeah, okay. We'll stick with, you see a bunch of different emotions all flash on her face very quickly. But when that's over, and it only goes for a second, it ends with her kind of nodding with resolve. Just, in my time as a handmaiden, I'm not going to let her call me a pet anymore. I didn't learn much. She spent most of her time talking with the guild counselors or with her honor guard. She wasn't exactly a herald of the people. She seems to fiercely disagree with the God's Feast. I don't know what it is, but she seems to think this is a waste of time.
Wasn't this their idea?
Oh, not from what I heard from the guildmaster. He said a few times that it was his idea. But I don't know. I'm a little newer to this feast situation. She, we'll say she has enough wherewithal to stand up. That's a good start. And taking the awkward head pats as some kind of sign, carefully leans in to give Tyrus a gentle hug. She is not being very assertive with it, and ultimately this is probably a little more stilted than most of you have seen her acting. Heck, considering some of the other things you guys have seen her do, this is downright stone-faced of her. Yeah, a little bit of that. If only both people were feeling that awkward. When that ends, she's... I can't really go back to spying on the god, but if I can help in any way, I want to help. I just need to know what that was that happened, or I don't know if I can trust myself to be around any of you.
What did you see? What caused that reaction?
I don't know. He was. I only saw Tyrus, but just something in my heart, something overtook me. This desire that the one that I care for most, I just needed to put my claws in him and make him hurt, and make him bleed, and make him scream. And I hated that. But I couldn't stop myself. And then it was over. And thank goodness I could stop myself.
Did you overhear them talking at all about the culinarians and like what were they talking about when they were talking about the feast? We think that there is someone in the culinarian leadership that's causing trouble, and we're trying to figure out who it is. If you overheard anything that could help point us in that direction, that could be very helpful.
Well, I certainly didn't hear anybody talking about plans to blow up the charity hall, but I let's see. Mohallam, the administrator, I only heard people talk about her, but a lot of people talk about her. The orc, he only met with her once. They didn't get along too well. And it was mostly logistics. Same with the mouse. He only came by a few times, and it was asking about things for the preparation. Colors for flowers was one of them.
Does she? This is kind of off topic, but does she
Sure.
have any control over her time powers?
She hasn't been like blinking out of time, but I don't think anybody's actually discussed that with her.
I'm just gonna straight up ask her. Do you have control over your time powers?
I don't know. I haven't tried. I could probably give him a shot. What do you need?
If we gave you a date and time and place, do you think you could go back there and witness something?
Probably, but it would have to be pretty specific. And that would take a lot out of me if I did it.
So I just thought, this is like metagaming here, but I just thought that if we could get her to do that, we could figure out who the killer is of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's figure out who the traitor is, who set the fire and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something we want to try?
I'm down. I think that sounds great. John had to go downstairs to check food. How about you, Seth?
I'm game.
Do we remember the origin of the fire, like where it started, the explosion?
It seems like it was almost catalyzed like at the lower levels
Mhm.
and then worked its way up.
Have we gathered enough information to tell her a specific enough place and time? Zell?
I think if you intended to place her right before the explosion, you could do that very easily, right?
Okay.
That would probably be a case of you would want to check with when your ship docked, because that explosion was like 30 minutes after you guys docked in Porta Maria.
Right, because we had been talking a good amount with
With Racklin and the Culinarians.
right.
So realistically, if you said like 30 minutes beforehand, you could probably have her sent there. I'm going to interrupt to tell you that you have one shot at this.
Right.
She's not going to blink back in 5 minutes and be like, I missed, let's try again.
Right. This is a one and done sort of thing.
And also, you may not see her for a little bit, depending on how much control she actually has. I don't actually know. I'm going to roll some dice behind the scenes. I will also have everybody who would like to make some intelligence checks.
Just raw intelligence?
Oh, 16's not bad.
You know, considering who rolled those intelligence checks well, I'm pretty pleased right now.
We're pretty intelligent.
I'm getting
not
the
gonna
brain
lie.
cell tonight.
Mm-hmm. Tyrus Rain, you did actually. Yeah, both of you were there for this. You did actually fight somebody down in that cellar who probably was the responsible party.
Wait, you guys have known the whole time?
Yeah, it was Jeff.
Ah!
Yeah, we're best buds.
I mean, technically.
You guys suck.
Well,
I mean, he cut us in on the deal. I mean, like, we're not gonna rat him out.
well,
I ain't no narc.
I think if memory serves, I became unconscious. Like, to be fair,
That's true, yeah.
I got stabbed and I was down for the count.
I don't have an excuse like that.
Holden, or not Holden, Morthos. Morthos would have been the only one. Would have been the only one that knew more, I guess.
If memory serves me right, everybody was there briefly, but you got knocked out, and like smoke inhalation's a heck of a drug.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to DM you very quickly, Tyrus, and it's definitely not going to be anything to jog your memory, but you rolled pretty well, and I almost DM try.
Nice. That's probably better if you do that.
Yeah, but you're right that unfortunately it's Morthos that had the best view of this, but Tyrus, I remember you were there and helped with this situation.
Oh yeah.
Because I placed one dude there and then there were two of you, and I was like, well, this is bad news. Anyway.
Oh yeah, the brain cell kicked it back in. It was one of the green cloak dudes, face changers that killed someone that killed Racklin. So like one of the arrow guys.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. That was X's last session with us. May he rest.
He died to save our sons.
He actually just walked off into the sunset. But the last thing that he did was he took that golden dagger pin that he got from that particular one, like slapped it into Holden's hands and said, "This is your problem now."
Hey,
PTSD.
this is probably like, this hasn't been said specifically yet, but does Andromeda know that symbol at all? Since like she has a lineage of like her lineage is like serving the gods. Can we show the pin to her?
Yeah, sure.
If we haven't specifically done it yet.
You've got 3 of them.
Nice. I'm just gonna juggle in my hands. Do you know any of these?
She looks at it for a couple seconds as it like rolls around in your hand. Oh my goodness. She's I've seen that before. Or something like that. I was really young, but I remember something like that. An ornate golden dagger. It was centuries ago. Oh shoot, come on. My father mentioned...
Would there be any way to contact your father and ask him? Would he even be willing to help us?
Yeah, just explain who you are, Tyrus, real quick, and I'm sure he'd have a blast.
Oh, he knows.
Just like last time. Pew pew.
He definitely knows Tyrus. He probably has an inkling of me.
Father is gonna be in town for the feast. He's probably coming in tomorrow night. And you could definitely ask him about the pin. I know he told me something about it. I'd really rather not ask him about the thing that's wrong with me. But I guess I could do that too.
We could just avoid that topic.
hope so. I don't know if I've ever been able to hide anything from him. But I'm sure he would know about that pin. Yeah. Oh, I wish I remembered what he told me.
Just think about it, and then in the future, blink back to this point in time and tell us.
I'll do my best.
Tyra says that sarcastically, by the way.
Now we know we never invent time travel.
By now, she is smiling a little bit. I probably shouldn't go back to the lab with you.
Because of your condition, or
Because I might stab him with that golden dagger in his sleep.
Have we considered just maybe like bloodletting me a little bit? Maybe that'll like cure things.
Maybe
just like a little bit of stab.
You actually see her start to blush pretty fiercely, and I hadn't really thought about it.
Tyrus is gonna lift some of his like plate mail and like point to like above his liver, and like if you stab here, I can heal pretty fast.
You're just gonna flash your abs to this poor girl?
Yeah. Should I do a medicine check to know if I'm pointing in the right spot?
You know what? Sure, why not? You point to your abdomen, I guess.
I point to a general area. I said, if you stab here, you're probably fine. I probably won't die.
She, like, at this point, turns away from you and, like, he's starting to breathe heavily. Let's get insight. Let's get insect checks from everyone.
Was that nature?
No, it's insight.
Nice.
Okay.
This is perfect.
hey,
this is
another
great.
16.
Being oblivious is great.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow. Wow.
Only Mira knows what's going on.
I mean, I have a 16, so.
No, in this situation, only Mira knows what's going on.
Oh, Mira always knows what's going on.
Yeah.
She's very
We're just a
open.
bunch of dumb guys. We're just a bunch of dumb himbos over here.
Ooh, I don't know how to spell. Listen, Discord, don't shame me. I just gave a thumbs up at my computer to confirm that you had gotten my message, and I both gave a thumbs up to the monitor that doesn't have the camera, and forgot that my camera was off.
Nice.
Nail it. Good?
Good.
A couple seconds pass where she is like turned away, and she does, after like a couple seconds of deep breathing, she says, "Okay, I should definitely stay in the guild hall tonight." If you want me to try and go somewhere, say the word, I can do that too, but just in case, it might be best if I stay away for a little bit.
Do you want me to come and stay with you? We can have some girl time.
That would probably be safe. I think that would be okay.
I'm not super excited to let her out of our sight again.
I can braid your hair, and you can tell me how to stab heralds.
Nice.
I like this plan.
Yeah, it's right here on the abdomen. Tyrus just showed us.
Sounds like you guys can have a slumber party, and I'm going to be stuck on the couch.
It does sound that way, yeah. So fun fact, it's currently late morning. It's a good time for me to mention that today is 2 days until the God's Feast, and it's late morning. So the slumber party probably isn't going to happen for a few hours at least.
Do we have all of the ingredients that Ranmar and Pelna need?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the last thing that was brought up was the mention of Cinderman, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I can get that, no problem." So we're good, yeah.
Okay. We had a couple of other interviews, and didn't Rayun need to commune with his god? Or was that... I don't remember us doing that last session, but that was something that he had expressed an interest in doing the session before.
So I did.
Oh,
So
okay.
Rayun did talk with his god, and then we immediately went into session, and a lot of confirmations were happening as the campaign trudged forward.
Okay. You
Fudge
haven't shared
ouch.
any of that with us. Is that something that we should discuss as a group? Do you have information relevant to what we're doing?
So basically, hold on. Let me pull up my notes because I actually took notes on this.
Thank goodness
Problem
someone
that
did.
Each of you knows a part of the puzzle, but no one wants to share their part of the puzzle.
Well, I was going to share it, but like everything started happening and there was no good point to actually share things. And we just ended up going over it, and I'm like, okay, that's a confirmation. Okay, that's a confirmation. This is a weird thing that's happening. So let me find
Yeah,
it.
Sav and I did have a couple like virtual eye contact and head nods of like, "Oh yeah, that's a thing."
Yeah. So the two questions that I posed to my god was, is Telemar the one committing genocide, and what do you know of sphinxes, and are they sacrifices for gods? Which is why I was like, okay, this is confirmation. Okay, all right, and done. So like basically none of this information was new, or was becoming new as everything was happening. And he confirmed that Andromeda is technically a servant to the gods as a sphinx, but as we were communicating or having conversation with Telemar, and Andromeda basically confirming it herself, was that she was not ready to be a servant as of yet. So so then that was like, okay, so that's fine. And then Rayun had a vision of a golden sword slashing slashing an apple that was where I was communing, because I was in the pantry.
Where we do all our best communing.
Uh-huh. And a apple rolled off the table and immediately was slashed in half, which was confirmation that, well, Telemar was responsible for the devastation of Nazma. But finding with our conversation with Telemar that he is not the one pulling the strings, obviously. And Meg or Mira find like basically talking and just kind of listening. It is definitely the head priest Savi that is probably pulling that string. At least the string of, telling Telemar to cut things down at least.
Okay.
But that's just speculation.
How much trouble will we get in if we go fight a herald?
Well,
Not as much trouble
Andromeda
she's
is
in right
actually.
now.
Andromeda will jump in when you say that, and she starts shaking her head pretty aggressively. No. If you fight her, you might as well be fighting him. And look, I love you all, but she's on they're both on another level. They're actual gods.
Even the Herald?
Well, his power is hers, and I don't really understand that part.
I can put it into, I guess, semblance, I guess. This god is basically putting all of his power into the person that's worshiping them. And I mean, it's kind of where I get my holy power.
Can we prove that she isn't worshiping him if she's trying to unseat him?
Well, he doesn't know that.
Well, let's convince him.
But if we know that,
how come you're not a herald?
I mean,
and if you are a herald, why have you been holding back?
Then if he's a herald, he can go fight the other herald.
I believe in science, and it manifests arrows from an extra-dimensional space that I invented, and I've got a talking mechanical dog. What I brought you?
What you're describing is pretty much a religious rap battle, and I'm for it.
Let's do it. Scripture battle, let's go.
Rayun versus Savi, begin! If any of you knows that, I am very happy.
It's been a long time, but I know what you're talking about.
Hey!
I remember that VO from the epic battles that John watches.
Yeah. Epic rap battles of history. I think... anyway. Going off on tangent.
Who left? You're the guard.
Yeah. Love those guys. So getting back into campaign shifting gears. I don't think any of us are ready for for that kind of firepower, at least not right now. I think again, just biding our time, figuring out or figuring out who set the fire is still one of our main goals, and then we'll see where we're at in terms of facing off against Savvy.
Is the
I don't
assumption
know.
that the person that set the fire is somehow helping her unseat her god?
That is true.
No, I'm
I
asking,
think
I'm not sure. Because if
that
we can't fight her, then what do we do? Go out and kill boars until we're level infinity and can come back and kill her?
Live to win.
anything can die if you shoot it enough.
Because
Well, I guess if we go back and tell them that Savvy set the fire and Molojoro saw her, and so let's go to war. Maybe like the whole council can kill her. I don't know.
Oh man, does the Dreadnought have the power to teleport us back in time?
Or
ooh,
forward. to
let's
where we're
do
already
that.
Let's just do a Bill and Ted's epic adventure and just go back in time
I like this.
until we kill
We'll
enough
go-
boars and we're on the level of a herald.
I
Yeah.
was thinking we would go and kill whoever had the explosion.
Boob's got the superior idea. And we come back. Welcome, San Dimas High.
I'll cross class into bar just to get the loot going.
There is a part of me that really wants to just be like, all right, guys, we're gonna end the session early and go ahead and level to 20 real fast. It's really tempting, but also I'm gonna say for like 3 different reasons, not that feasible. So sorry about that one. Let's say, you know what? Andromeda will give a quick explanation to say, I could probably take some of you with me, but not for more than a couple minutes.
And if we want more information, I think it's best if she goes alone, or maybe one other. If
Who's
you
the
can
best
handle
at perception?
I think I have a 6. I think Holden's really high in perception too.
I do all right. Not great.
I think taking the person who has the best chance of spotting details would be the best.
So
And I don't think that's specifically me.
that was the session that we missed. So Mira and Holden were outside helping.
Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't have been inside where the activity was taking place, so we could go in and not necessarily look out of place.
It's true.
If this is what you guys want to use this power for, I am not going to say no to this. I'm just going to make sure I know very specifically what you're looking for so that I can give you exactly what you're looking for. Are you looking for who started the fire?
I guess let's recap. Why are we investigating all of the administrators again?
Because
Yeah, sure. Let's go back a few steps.
Somebody is using guild money to kill importer businesses, and that's how we found out the hit was on Primrose.
Yeah.
And somebody also killed I have to go back to my notes. The one culinarian starts with an R.
Razmi, yeah.
Razmi, thank you. John said Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah.
and we think that those deaths might be connected, and his death was associated with the fire and the explosion. Is that correct or no?
A couple things to fill in some gaps there. You know they're connected because Mortavio did them.
Okay.
And he just like flat out admitted. In fact, like I think it was last session or 2 sessions ago, you were looking at the picture of Razmi's death.
Yes.
And he was like, yeah, I did that.
That's right. So we know who killed them. We don't know who hired him, though, because Mortavio doesn't know who hired him.
Mhm.
Okay.
So we're trying
and
to
so-
figure out who hired him
So
and who has access to the guild funds to be able to pay for it.
I'm just trying to make sure we're using this power responsibly, since we have it's a one and done.
I will also add, this was Racklin's suggestion was to interview the culinarians that would make up the council and try and figure out who's lying about that, because who's lying about that is probably also the one that's hiring hitmen.
Okay, so that's the connection between the two, is that Racklin said, hey, these are probably the same person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Almost as if the cosmos was speaking through him.
Right. So we have on pretty good authority that the two are connected. And that authority is the all above cosmos.
Every once in a while, I just have to tell you guys things through my NPCs.
Mhm.
And how long could she stay in one area?
She didn't say for certain, but the
Like,
way
I'm
I was
wondering if we could. I'll talk through my plan here.
Sure.
If we wanted to just like verify everyone's story, we could just have Andromeda take one person, and then they just like run around, visually check to see that person's there, and then return. But based on how long she can actually hold the time travel thing,
She said that she could go by herself. Well, I insinuated on her behalf that she could probably do that for 30 minutes.
okay.
I will go so far as to say she could probably hold one person there in that place in time for about 30 minutes as well.
Okay.
This is a delicate game of not yucking yums and letting you guys have fun while also not actually breaking the time-space continuum.
Right. I assume we'll have to do some type of disguise self on ourselves to make sure we're not in two places at once.
You know, there's magic in the world.
Yeah.
Maybe seeing ourselves is how we came up with this idea.
True. And that's why that's why the plan's coming to my mind now and not earlier.
So are we assuming then whoever started the fire is potentially the person that's been doing the payments?
Well, we're pretty sure the person who started the fire was one of the green cloak people. We just don't know. I guess we don't know where they came from. They're one of the face changers,
Because
shapeshifter guys, right?
We were also a little uncertain about whether or not the god actually, like, why the god killed everybody. So I guess we could also potentially send her back to witness that and see
True.
how that whole thing went down.
Hello.
We forgot. I guess we did forget to ask while we were in there. Like, hey, why did you?
I'm gonna be
why'd you
honest.
blow up that place?
You super did, and that was like the first thing I thought when I was walking away from that session was, man, they were so close.
We could have just asked, hey, why did you blow up Nazma? And
Yeah.
he'd be like, oh, it wasn't me. And we're like, oh, well, that's why we're giving you a feast, because we heard you blow up Nazma. We didn't want you to do that at this place.
Do you think we could?
And then crisis averted.
Could we get another audience with him?
Yeah, they already recognize me as Knight of Dreams. It shouldn't be hard.
Yes.
Just walk in there.
Andromeda points out that his his current schedule is sleep for 23 hours and then eat for 1 hour. So you probably could get an audience with him. It would not be until tomorrow
Until
morning.
tomorrow, yeah.
Can we just rush
Also,
back in there right now and be like, "Hey, I
have
forgot my hat."
a revelation. I did not know because of, again, I think compartmentalized information, that there has
Mhm.
been more than one face changer.
Yep.
How do we know how many they are? Are they a specific race? And I thought it was just a dwarf. My takeaway was that I thought it was a dwarf warlock that Morithos used, who was just using alter self, and that's just what his alter self looked like. But if there have been others like that, then I need someone who has more information than Holden does to tell Holden what they know.
I'm piecing this together right now, to be honest. I think that was kind of like a Morthos storyline.
Kind of was, and it's really a big bummer that he disappeared.
Yeah. So I think we're all learning this right now together.
And do we think Mortavio is one of these shape-changing people?
I mean, he seems pretty sure of himself. I find that hard to believe. I think if he was, he probably would have shown off a bit.
So the shape changers were the ones using the green or the golden sword pins. I thought it was just one warlock, but it turns out now it's all shapeshifters are using that. That's one thread. We have an additional thread of someone is assassinating people using Mortavio and his blood magic while they embezzle money. And that person may or may not have anything to do with the fire that was set that killed people.
You know, I meant to
And
do that as Mortavio, but whatever.
the god that we have here may or may not be the one that destroyed Nazma. And this visit of the god may or may not have anything to do with the other previous three threads.
Andromeda.
Hmm?
Does shapeshifters mean anything to you when it comes to that golden dagger? Does that like jog a memory?
There was a battle. Okay. I know that much because father came home. He had fought beside Telemar, which was unusual. He mentioned something about the. It's something like that, but. It's right there on the tip of my brain. I'm sorry. I'm trying.
Take your time. Don't feel like you're rushed.
Chaos, green satchels, golden daggers, shapeshifters.
I know. I'd have to ask him. I'm sorry. I don't want to ask him, but I will. For you, I will ask him as soon as he gets here, I promise.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Back to strategizing. What are we gonna do?
If I'm being honest, I'm a little lost. I support whatever the group decides, but I am just really not sure where to go from here.
Who else do we have left to interview?
Oh, that's me. I can answer that.
Nice.
Sorry, I am fiercely handling all of those very almost tied loose threads. You have not talked to Counselor Chikel, Counselor Mesalier, or the offer was still up to. Oh, I haven't written that down yet. Because we didn't get any of that information. The offer was also open for Racklin to get an interview with the Herald. That one might be a little challenging now after Mira's thing, but she doesn't have to sleep for 23 hours.
I mean,
I wonder to
could
have an
just
interview
hang out
with my hands.
Andromeda.
Let's go interview the other two administrators, and then maybe we can just talk. We can just read the transcripts together and try to figure out this clue puzzle.
I like it.
Okay.
That's my suggestion.
I think that is
We don't have two left.
Let's do it.
I think that is a great option. And I mean, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, Molo's doesn't count. You have 5 transcripts. You can start looking at them now. While conversations are going on. But I am going to ask before we leave, because we got a lot of almost ready to go plans. What would you like Andromeda to do? Would you like her to wait here? Would you like her to use a time power?
Probably just hang out for a bit.
Okay.
And think about not stabbing me.
Okay. That seems doable. Her current plan was already to stay here in the guild hall, and so she just pulls up Racklin's chair and sits in the corner. And it's a shame he doesn't have a standing desk. All right. I really can't. Okay. So, given that, where are you guys headed?
The first one you mentioned.
Who's closest?
Counselor Chikel?
Yeah.
That seems doable. Let's see.
And which one of us would be the most likely to get along with him? Based on those personality charts we got previously.
Mira, did you have someone for Chikel? I know there were a couple that were just these are just all
Yeah,
around.
there were a couple that were just kind of general. So, no, I have that we interviewed Chikel in session 30. Wait, hold on.
I mean,
Oh, we went to their office and found the note saying that they'd gone. So we went to Mulholland's office instead.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Sorry, I had to look back at my notes. No, I don't have any notes on who would be best to speak to them. I only had for Mesalier, Mulholland, Morthos.
Honestly, actually, yeah. All right. Well, let's get on our way then. You are in the guild hall. It doesn't take you long to get there. So by the time you get to Chikel's office, it's still late morning, and believe it or not, he's still not there. It looks like a different handwritten note that effectively says the same thing of still at the market, here until I die. Chikel.
Gonna run her, boys.
But he had time to write another note.
Well, currently reading through the transcript so far, Chikel checks out. There's 2 other administrators who confirmed that they were there. Counselor May and Counselor Gagra both say Petrikel was there.
Mhm.
But we should still talk to them and see what they say. So we should go to the market and find them. Hunt them down.
I'm for it.
I cast track.
Let's do
All
it.
right. The spell points you to the note in your hand.
Nice. I track the note to the person.
Nail it. All right. It's a little bit of a trek. You have to leave the guild hall, and it's a decent way to get to the market. The guild hall's kind of on a hill and stuff, and they don't have Ubers or anything, so you're gonna have to walk. When you get to the market at this point, especially because a day or two has passed since you found the last note, this market is crazy. The Phaethon market is by far the largest in the city, probably on the island, and it is overrun with people. But it seems like this is the busiest this place has ever been. This is Christmas Eve, and nobody remembered to bring a gift. This is Thanksgiving, and oh crap, the turkeys are on extra big sale right now. Right, everyone is in the market, including most of those Telemarian acolytes. There's green cloaks all over the place. Given that, survival? That feels like a weird check to make, even though that is definitely what you're supposed to roll for tracking people. Let me look at a character sheet real fast. Oh, I'm so bad at the skills in this game. You know what? Yeah, what if I don't say anything and instead... I'm going to read that in a minute because that's too many words. How
That's
would
for
you
real
guys
sweet.
like to handle this situation of, finding the counselor?
I'd like to go to the market and just ask people, have you seen this very renowned culinarian walking around? Until people start pointing me in the direction of that person.
Yeah, that seems fair. Could you give me, I'm going to say a persuasion check, but it's going to be a really easy one.
Nailed
I'm
it.
on the hunt, man. I'm on the hunt.
Ugh.
Oh, this is one of those sessions where people only roll 20s or 1s.
Yeah.
We've already had, 3 1s and 2 or 3 20s? This is going to be a good day. Man. Okay. So, yeah. You just start describing the counselor. You don't even have a great description of him. Just he's the counselor. You kind of know his name. Maybe you heard a little bit of a description from Racklin or from Ranmar, Pelna, and within 5 or 6 seconds, the first person you talk to, this little dwarven dude, says, "Oh yeah, he was just here. Practically broke my stand. Can't miss him. Headed south. Just run for 30 seconds and you'll catch him."
I'm going to run for 31 seconds going
Perfect. It's almost, it's such a good roll, it's almost 30 seconds to the dot that you spot a chef's hat curiously low amongst the crowd, where normally that hat sits above the crowd because it's a tall hat. This one's bobbing around eye level, and in case that wasn't enough to give you some idea you'd found the right person, a particularly gruff shout comes out right in front of you, you're 5 or so feet away, of a man yelling, "Get the hell out of my way!" And the whole crowd kind of parts, and you get a very good view of the small mouse man that definitely is actually a race in D&D, and I didn't just use it because I like mouse people and this was a funny picture of Counselor Chikel. He looks pissed.
Where's this picture of him?
In the scene that I thought I sent you guys to and didn't. Oh, I'm so good at that.
Nice.
I
There
even
we
had
go.
a dramatic moment of like remembering how to move tokens and make them appear for you. Oh,
But hey, at
the
least
best.
I reminded you before you went on for 30 minutes.
I appreciate that tremendously. Yeah. So yeah, Chikel right in front of you. He just storming through the crowd. It looks like he's not making a straight line so much as he's going to, like, he's bouncing from stand to stand. And after that shout, people are giving him a pretty wide berth. Also, now that I've had time to read it, Tyrus, at any point, if you feel like pausing and discussing that, feel free to let me know.
No,
Okay,
not yet.
sounds good. Maybe after this discussion. But yeah, he does not notice you, except that you were one of the few people in the crowd that didn't, like, leap away in fear. So, how would you like to handle this situation?
I'm gonna let the person who's very charismatic interview them because I
Well, that's
think
probably a good idea.
if I do it, we're gonna get into a fight, and I'm gonna get try out my new weapon.
Holden, you have more charisma, don't you?
My charisma is an 8.
Oh. Would
No,
it
I
be
guess it's
ma-
subjective. Like
I think-
compared to a displacer beast, yes, I'm very charismatic.
That's actually pretty well
Nice.
how Holden would say it, yeah.
Compared to a rock wall, I hold a conversation.
My charisma is a 17. What's yours, Seth?
15?
15.
You beat me.
Okie doke. Then I guess that's me.
Yeah, and I think we can assume that everybody was like tagging right behind Tyrus. So, yeah, sure.
All right. Chico, we need to speak with you. I'm sure that Rare let you know that he has given us permission to interview everyone.
You when you start talking, he wheels around like no one has ever done a 180 faster than this man just spun around to look at you. Over the course of you just saying that sentence, you see a man who might just like Voltorb self-destruct because he's so mad into a look of bemusement and then actually kind of joy.
That was a weird little flow of.
This man looks like he does not do emotions lightly. Let's go with that.
All right.
He's. Oh, yeah. I was waiting for you.
Well,
It took your sweet time.
you would have heard from us sooner had you spent any time at all in your office.
He waves around at the fair around him. I have to keep this madness in check. Somebody's got to figure out how we're going to supply this feast, how we're going to coordinate 500 guests. Nobody had the sense to put together a party, let alone a party planner.
And is that the function that you're providing?
Somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to buy the banners. Somebody's got to buy the punch bowls. Might as well be the one that's ready to get things done. So yeah, that's me.
Sounds like you're good at spending the money of the Culinarian Guild.
Not that I like to. But this is all Culinarian Guild business.
True enough.
Here, this is he like kind of gets on his tiptoes and he goes, yeah, you know what? There's not going to be a quiet place. Hold on just a sec. He walks over to a nearby stall and he says, "Hey, Samson, bugger off. I need this place for a few minutes." The human man at the stall gives him one look and just walks off. He says, "Here, my office. Why don't you come inside?" And he walks into the back of this stall.
This will do.
He leaps up onto a fairly large keg and sits down in like the sort of sit down that you can only do when you're 3.5 feet tall, where his legs just start kicking in front of him because he's definitely not reaching the floor. And come on, pull up a seat. Like I said, I've been meaning to talk to you. He looks at Holden and, and calm down. We're all friends here, right?
That remains to be seen.
We're here. Talk.
Well, first things first. I'm not going to say I owe you my life, but I do owe you for a few lives. I recognize you from the description Gogra gave me. A couple days ago, anyway, we were talking about it. You were the ones that went in after him, right? Went in to get people out, yeah?
Yeah.
Correct.
You did me a real service that day. So, as far as I'm concerned, anything you need from me. Hell, I'd give you a seat at the feast if you wanted it.
Sure.
He nods at you like, yeah, that's a thing. Sure. Anyway.
Worst case, we sell the ticket.
So,
All right. So we have tickets to the feast. What I really want
I plan on dunking on our friend Catherine about that.
What I really want to know is where you were and whether or not you saw anything suspicious or out of the ordinary with any of the other members of the Culinarian Guild.
he nods for a second and says, yeah, that's right. Sorry. That's why Rare wanted you to talk to us. Probably more important than just a bunch of handshaking. All right, now, here we go. And, well, we'll get to the heartfelt stuff afterwards, I guess. So, I was in the area because I was visiting family. They live in not one of the nicer districts. I'm working on it. I was on my way to visit them when the explosion went off. I was so close that nearly knocked me right on my arse. I got there pretty quick too. I was probably second on the scene, right behind Gogra. I was ready to coordinate with him, right? Try and figure out what to do, but he barely got 3 words in and just ran off into the building. Just right away. So, once again, I started doing whatever needed to be done. Ended up being largely cleanup duty for a bit. Tending to the wounded mostly. He would bring people out. I'd make sure that they were feeling okay. Smoke inhalation, burns, things like that. Once more culinarians started getting involved, I started coordinating them where I could until Rare showed up. To his credit, Rare did a pretty good job. Seems like we finally found something that he cared enough about to put in that kind of effort. Not saying no, he was helpful, but because of that, I mostly spent time on the outside. I wanted to go in, but Gogro was already inside. Rare didn't want 2 counselors going in case something bad happened. I didn't see when you had gone in. I just heard about it after the fact. But I was one of the last to leave.
When the guildmaster showed up, did he show up with anyone else?
Yeah. May was with him, yeah. She, I just saw her for a second. I probably waved at her, I think. And then she went off and did crowd work. Weird, too. That's usually what Rare does.
Was anyone else with him?
No one important. There were probably a couple, newbies, initiates, maybe a couple associates like you, but no one else. Why?
No one of any significance outside the guild?
Not really, no. 2 of them, maybe 2 or 3 other. Couple of kids looking to earn their stripes at best.
Okay. Just gathering information.
Did you see any Telemar's people?
Oh, no. This seemed like a guild affair. There were probably a couple of green cloaks off in the crowd, but like I said, that was May. I was busy keeping people alive. There weren't a lot of green cloaks in there.
All right. Does anyone have any other questions? Yeah.
Did you happen to see Counselor May?
Yeah, she was doing the crowd work, like I said. I didn't really keep tabs on her for long. Just confirmed that she was there and then went back to work. Well, I'll be honest, I didn't see too much. I probably spent 8 hours just my face right in people's wounds and burns and stuff. And look, that's one of the things I do, right? Somebody's got to do the work. It's nice having people that can talk to people and be diplomats and pretty faces for the guild, because pretty faces drive up recruitment. That's true. But somebody's actually got to make this feast happen, right? Somebody's got to keep the people alive. Somebody's got to train the new recruits. Somebody's got to keep people fed. Poor Mulholland can't do it all. So, as far as the heavy lifting, sometimes that falls on me.
Do you remember whose idea the feast was?
Yeah, it was Rare's. He probably said we're going to hold a feast maybe, 30 minutes after the news came in about Nazma? I'll be honest, it sounded like the dumbest thing that anyone could say after hearing that a town got wiped out, let alone a city-state.
That
But
does seem very suspicious.
his, look, I don't always think that Rare is the brightest man out there, but the idea's coming together pretty well. He sold us on it pretty quickly.
How did he sell Telemar and his people on it?
Oh, we kind of already planned on holding a feast for Telemar before we'd heard anybody from the Telemarian folks. But as I recall, Savi showed up not too long after that to inform us that the what was it? The procession of flowery farts or whatever from Nazma didn't go well, and so Telemar was going to go back to crusading and celebrate his next victory here, and that seemed to line up with Rare's plan. So sails down, anchors up. We went straight ahead.
Interesting.
Are there any of the other administrators that you see hang around the Herald that much?
No.
I know you've been organizing everything. I assume you've met with her for logistics reasons.
A few times. You would not believe how hard it is to figure out what kind of food Telemar likes. Yeah, I've talked to her a few times.
Uniquely, we might.
As far as the people that actually spend time with her, I know Rare does a lot because, like I said, pretty face. And she talks with May a lot about, I don't know, religion. Guess that's pretty important to the Herald. All of the others, we kind of pop our heads in, give the Herald some FaceTime when we have something important to talk about. Otherwise, I got better things to do.
Had Sari spent a lot of time here before the feast was announced?
Sorry, who?
Sabi.
Savi.
Sorry.
Sorry.
No, and she showed up and Rare already had this plan in mind, so it was practically her saying Telemar's going to be here and him saying, great, we'll have a feast when you get here. But I don't know if I'd ever seen her before this. You could have just called her some random crazy person off the streets if she hadn't appeared in front of the council, a flag just appearing out of nowhere in a flash of light, and then her walking out of it. Things like that leave an impression.
Interesting. If we have any more questions, can we find you here?
I wish you could find me back in my office, or even better, my home. But yeah, you can probably find me here.
Very well. Thank you very much for your time.
Oh, no. I'm serious. I owe you.
Well, we may need to collect on that.
Listen, my family was in that fire. You didn't just save random lives. You saved two people that were very important to me. As far as I'm concerned, we all owe you our lives.
Well, we could use about 5 tickets to the feast.
And about
You already
15
have.
levels worth of fire, worth of power.
You already have seats at the feast.
We want
Yeah,
bigger
but
seats.
extra income.
I mean, I do know at least two people that would be head over heels excited to go to that feast.
Yes. We should definitely get them tickets
For a price.
for a price.
But he's listen, anything. Whatever you need. He stands up from his barrel with a short little hop.
Well,
Take care.
we'll definitely call on you later
Please
for
do.
some help.
I'll see you around, adventurers. And he marches his way out. It's like 15 seconds before you hear him 30 feet down the street yelling at someone. But at least it's not you. That's good. There is a brief period where you guys are just in this stall tent surrounded by merchandise and no one else here.
What kind of merchandise?
This person looks like they sell, I'm going to say herbs and potion ingredients, question mark.
I want to
Lot
grab
of
a handful and put it in my pocket.
You know, I started saying that to say, like, if you felt like talking about stuff, this would be a good opportunity. And then I realized I was describing the first step of a heist. And I was like, well, yeah, I guess that too. Yeah, sure,
I
whatever.
thought that was pretty bold
Impulse
for
takes
you,
over.
for you to be like, oh, hey, you know what you could steal?
Impulse
Yeah.
takes over. I just take a handful of the closest herbs and put them in my pocket
Nice.
and
Perfect.
say these are probably useful for later. I don't know what they are. We can roll on
I-
that later.
Yeah, absolutely. Do me a favor, because this is a sort of dumb thing that I will roll on, and just say pocket full of herbs or something on your character sheet.
Okay.
And then, yeah. What else would you like to do with this tent?
Discuss who we think the traitor is.
So, yeah, that was interesting that Sari wasn't with them since she was Savi. Sorry. Savi wasn't with them since
She's gonna be sorry.
she was supposed to be.
Wasn't she like as soon as the fire was called, like her and her people like slunk back into their quarters and stuff like that?
So from the recounts we have so far, the guildmaster and Counselor May were both having dinner with her,
Right.
and then the explosion happened, and then Rare says that him and May go to Open Hand Hall, and then May says it was all three of them.
So either Savi's lying or May's lying.
Yeah.
I already know Sabi's a piece of shit.
We do already know that Savi is a piece of shit.
Yeah. May said all three of us rushed to the scene as quickly as we could get there. And then Rare and then everybody else says only the two of them rushed there. So why does May saying May's basically covering for Savi?
But we knew that
Right.
we know that Savi couldn't have been the one to start it, right? Because didn't Rare
Right.
also say that they were together?
Yeah. Rare and May both confirmed that they were having dinner with Savi.
Right.
But May says is covering for Sabi that, oh no, she was with us when we ran to the explosion. Which makes me think May is working with Sabi, and May might be the traitor.
Okay.
That's my hunch.
And she does make concoctions, which could possibly have been in the barrels.
Yeah, and I also remember Holden was very suspicious of May and wanted to take her out right then and there.
And did.
Yeah.
Right.
Could've
He's
taken that
suspicious
shot.
of everybody and wants to take them out then and there.
Yeah, but
he
this
just
time he was
pointed a
right.
crossbow at Shakel 2 minutes ago.
And what's your point,
saying.
Cosmos?
Yeah,
What's
So-
We got a paranoid guy in our party. What's your point?
I'm not going to jump in about the important stuff. I'm just going to jump in to make fun of you guys.
Sure.
I like that.
Fair.
So I think this is the point where we do a suit up session, call Racklin, and then we go take out Counselor May.
Let's do it.
And if we're wrong, oops.
I mean,
Kind of like
she
we
is
can
the
only
youngest.
send Andromeda one place at one time.
Okay, here's a great usage of Andromeda's power. We charge off to Counselor May's office. And if us from the future don't stop us, we were right.
Ooh. Done.
Or dead.
Okay.
Or dead.
So we need to make sure that we communicate that to Andromeda so that she knows to come and stop us
If we killed the wrong person.
if we kill the wrong person.
Well, let's go communicate that.
Is that a
Okay.
plan for everybody? Is that solid?
I like it. Let's do it.
I like the solid plan.
This
I like
sounds like
using timey-wimey for this shit.
Totally. This does sound like a great plan. Let's take a 5-minute break and think about not what we have done, but what we're about to do.
Woohoo!
Murder a hoe.
Yeah, remember the
Sounds
5-minute
good.
break, right? I'm back and early. Oh, but I do need to check something. Hold on.
Welcome back and goodbye.
Okay. I'm trying to decide how well I muted myself before I left.
I didn't hear anything.
No.
I didn't hear anything.
Did it. Quick banter before we get back into it, because this is really important to me personally.
Mhm.
When we were discussing the Herald on Herald rap battle, Sav went to Epic Rap Battles of History, which is a perfectly fine and reasonable place for your brain to go. My brain went to this instead, which is way less appropriate. But honestly, I probably watch this video like once a week.
The title alone.
Yep.
What the fuck?
I have the stream, so I'm not going to push play on that, but I will watch that later.
It's also only a 15-second video, so now I can say I've watched this video twice tonight. Yeah. I'm probably going to watch the third time before the end of the night.
That's ridiculous.
Right? I have no idea where that comes from, but I don't care. Sometimes you just have to look at a late stage meme and go, yep. All right, so still need Sav and Try. That's okay. All right, still need Sav. That's okay.
I was
Partially.
moving as fast as I could.
But not fast enough. I'm already like a
Not
quarter of the way through
fast
my raspberry
enough.
sorbet.
I'm sorry. Well, I guess if there's a sorbet.
Here's a sorbet. You know, treat myself a little bit. I bought the sorbet and then immediately went on a 30-day sugar cleanse. I was mad at myself. Didn't throw it out though. So, yeah, it sounds like we have a plan.
Let's
Probably
hope
do
we
that.
can
About
fight.
to shoot somebody.
Okay. So presumably you're going to stop by Racklin's office. Or otherwise
Yeah.
find Racklin, because he was the like accuse button.
This is like one of those Among Us memes.
I'm sorry, I don't understand that meme.
Neither do I.
Perfect. No, Sav, don't. I don't even have to. Oh, okay, that's not that bad.
There's the report button.
I was expecting that to be a way worse meme, and I'm too old for that. So, by the time you get back to Recklin's office, it is, probably early afternoon or so, and Andromeda is still there. She has still kept control of his chair, and he's just doing his paperwork over the desk, like standing. I'm going to remember now, right the second. Nailed it. And I'm even going to put him in his office. Oh yeah, I'm the best GM. I remember basic things. So, when you enter, he is honestly kind of surprised and excited. Well, that was fast. What do you need?
We're ready to accuse somebody.
Yeah. Really? So
Mhm.
Yeah.
so soon?
Yeah. We're kind of pretty good at this.
Okay. Well, great. Fantastic. Um, I'll go round up the administrators I can get my hands on. Where should we meet you?
May's office.
May. Okay. Got it. Loud and clear. All right. I'll go round up the crew. Hopefully, I have a desk to sit at when I get back. Andromeda smiles politely at him. And he marches off. That's not true. As he's leaving, he says, I'll meet you at May's office. But move as quickly as you need to. You're in charge of this investigation. And then, he ducks out.
We're gonna turn to Andromeda and be like, "Hey, we have a plan, and you're part of that plan.
Sure, how can I help?
We need you to go back in time in case we mess up.
And do what?
Stop
Tell
us.
us that we messed up." Then I'm gonna explain to her like who we're gonna accuse, and then if we find out later on that we're wrong, to go back in time and meet us at front of her office and tell us, "Hey, this isn't the person. You messed up."
Okay, yeah.
And if not, if we don't mess up, then go get yourself some ice cream.
Okay, please be careful.
We'll be fine. Holden's probably gonna shoot somebody.
Silently nods.
She does too. That lines up. Okay, yeah. Just be safe and yeah. She sits back down and kind of like fidgets with her tail that is wrapped around her. She still looks a little uneasy, but yeah. And it sounds like you guys are probably headed off to May's lab.
Yes,
All right.
locked and loaded.
Here's how this is going to work. Andromeda is not there, and I'm not telling you why. If you are wrong or otherwise this doesn't work out, I'm going to treat her contingency as just time will rewrite itself, and we will get like a bit of a rewind.
Okay.
Sound fair?
Sure.
Sounds fair.
Because there's also the chance that like you could be right and she murders you all, or you could be wrong and she murders you all, or you could be wrong and then Telemar comes in and is like, hello, dead, or whatever. I don't know. There's a lot of things that could go right or wrong here.
Everything's gonna go right because we're the main characters and we're always right.
I found that's the case like 60% of the time. And then sometimes you leave some poor slave goblin stranded.
60% of the time, we're right 100% of the time.
So, you arrive at May's office before Racklin does, by only like 20 or 30 seconds. And he's got a solid 5 other administrators in tow. None of them that you recognize, but they all look like decently prepared. Like they're armed. There's one of them is a hunter, and they look like they are ready for business. When he arrives, he says, "Just in case, I decided I didn't want to grab Mulholland, but I trust all of these with my life." So, I assume you know you're going to have to go in by yourself.
And you guys will be waiting outside.
Mm-hmm.
Probably better that way.
Man, I really
Once
want to kick down the door.
Once again, this is your investigation and all, and there's a certain amount that we don't want to get inter-guild politics mixed up. So sorry about that much. But I'll be with you in spirit, and roughly on the other side of a door. So yeah, at this point, how do you proceed?
Can't decide if I want to.
Opposed to the idea of kicking open the door, screaming hands in the air, bitch, and then tell her, hold still, this may hurt a bit.
I like that idea. But also, do you think we could just like go in there and like accuse her, and maybe she'll be like, "Ah, yes, you've got it. My master plan is this," and then we're sure.
You get her
But my problem is if she
monologuing.
doesn't confess, I don't get to kill her.
Yeah, we could just kill her.
See if you can get her to confess.
I'll knock on the door.
You do not get a response.
I'm gonna open the door.
Okay. Inside, you find May's lab. You guys have been here before. It is packed full of books and sciencey things and liquids and all sorts of things that, if you're right, are evidence, and if you're wrong, are guild property, hands off. But no counselor.
I'm gonna go straight for her desk where the boiling goo was.
It's still there.
I'm gonna pick it up.
It's warm to the touch, even though it's not actually on a flame or anything.
I'm gonna toss it to Holden. Be like, "Hey, what's this?"
Like, how hard are you tossing it?
Like underhand, like just
Oh,
like an
okay.
actual toss.
Hold it. Could you give me a dex check?
That's a good dex check.
That's a good dex check. You catch it pretty quickly, and yeah, he's holding a vial that's roughly sized and shaped like your average Edison light bulb. It is capped in gold, and the liquid inside, that's probably the interesting part, is a very warm, roiling, blood red liquid.
Do I have any idea what it is? And if not, is there a world where I can attempt to make an Arcana check to peruse the annals of my brain?
You know what? I know what this means when I say it, but go ahead, give me an Arcana check, and I'm gonna let you have advantage. Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
I like that we just get to ignore that other one.
Hmm.
Let's do this, because I like DMing people things. That way, you guys don't just say, yeah, what the Cosmos said. Goodness.
I hope it's a potion of instant death.
Whatever, there's gonna be a couple spelling errors. Deal with it. Get off my back. Wonderfully, I'm pretty sure when Tyrus saw this before, he made all of these same checks and spotted this particular vial and then rolled like a 2. I was like, I don't know what this is, but it's cool looking. It's like a lava lamp.
Yeah, it's a vial of guilty ass hose.
Nice. Let's call in Racklin and be like, hey, where could she be if not here?
Could I get perception? Yeah, we'll go with perception checks. Yeah, that
Nice.
lines up. A lot of greens and reds today.
I'm middle of the park.
It's not very well hidden, but it looks like one of these bookshelves kind of near where Tyrus is looks like it slides, and there's like pleasant sounds coming from the other side.
What kind of pleasant sounds?
You don't hear jack squat.
Yeah.
But for Mira and Holden, I'm going to go with kind of like loud humming or that like shower singing that you do when no one's around.
Cool. Alert everybody that there is a slide door hidden behind the bookcase, and let's open it up and see who's inside.
Stack up
Ruin
and
their
go in like
positivity
SWAT.
good move.
I'll slide the bookcase.
It'd be Rayon in front, and we'll stack up behind him.
Sounds good.
2 breaching rounds.
Yeah, and just throw a couple of flashbangs first. That's important.
Throw in the vial of guilty hoe.
It's like living blood magic. It's that roiling is not from heat, it's animated blood, just like Mortavio uses. So she
Oh,
would be
interesting.
that trifling asshole.
My man.
That's a revelation I'll have to come back to. So you walk through, presumably not throwing anything, but I don't know, I might be wrong.
Throwing hands.
That's fair. The first lab looked like it was mostly dedicated to research, right? There was a lot of like scholarly pursuits and stuff. You walk into a second lab that is, if possible, bigger, and this one looks like, oh, this is where the practical research is done. Got it. It is wide open, and I would say cavernous, except somehow it's on the 3rd floor. This is a weird building. Not going to think too much about that. The center of the platform, or the center of the room, has a slightly raised platform, and on it you can see kind of looks like dragon remains. It's a little hard to say. Along the left wall, you can see an enormous vat of similarly like mildly animated red liquid, and something is inside that tank besides the liquid. Like there is some kind of organic thing in there, but In your brief first glimpse, you don't have a great view of it. And meanwhile, there's just like arcane symbols, runes, and some equipment all over the place. But all of this is mildly overshadowed by maybe the most important thing, which is May is standing in the far end of the room near a bunch of decently flashy research equipment. And when she sees you, she turns. Oh, I thought I heard a door knocking. I'm sorry, I should have come down to visit, or to let you in. Well, I'm glad you found my lab, though. Otherwise, you wouldn't have found anything, huh? What can I do for you?
They have questions. I have a crossbow.
Okay. What questions?
Hit her, Tyrus.
We'd like to go over the night of the explosion with you again
Sure. Yeah.
and confirm some details.
Fire away, I
Who-
guess.
You were having dinner with who again? The Guildmaster and Ranmar?
Savi, the Herald.
Oh, okay. Got that wrong.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. And then you went to the explosion. You guys heard the explosion at dinner.
Mhm.
And then the three of you traveled to the explosion.
That sounds right, yeah.
And how long have you and Savi been conspiring together?
What are you getting at?
I think you know. And I'm going to raise my rifle.
She gives you a confused look for a couple seconds and just like slumps her shoulders down. Oh, thank goodness. I'm so tired of keeping that pretense up. Finally, I could talk with someone about this.
I'm a shooter.
You're serious? This is the third campaign I've run and I haven't gotten to rhapsodize as a villain once?
No, that's fine. Go for it.
No, if you shoot, we shoot.
You caught me monologuing.
I want
Right?
I want to know why.
Seriously, guys, I've run 3 campaigns in my life, and not once have I gotten the opportunity to monologue, except for once where I literally had to be like, you are all paralyzed so that I can monologue.
Listen. Any good adventurer knows you don't let the villain monologue. But I am actually curious, so I'm not going to shoot.
And I was like, you guys are talking about like, well, if we just kill her, then we can't get the information. I was like, don't kill her, let her give the information first. Let me do this. I wanna. And then you fire. I'm like, God dang it. I am going to leave it up to you.
No,
my
monologue.
emotions aside.
Monologue.
Monologue.
All right. Well,
Just know, I was thinking about shooting her.
Okay. Well, I am going to move us to a different scene, and you can understand why I didn't move you here a second sooner. But she leans back against some of the equipment and says, I have been waiting to share my research with someone for so long. I guarantee you when this is over, you'll understand everything. And frankly, I could see you being on my side at the end of this.
I find that very hard to believe.
I only got one side, and it's my good side.
Face down on the floor isn't a side.
That is true.
Listen, I know everybody says this, And I'm pretty sure everybody thinks this, talking to a bunch of adventurers, but I'm just trying to save the world, same as everyone else. And the difference is, I'm so close. I am so close to genuinely ending world hunger.
At the cost of losing possibly 2 city-states.
What? What are you talking about?
Well, I mean, Nazba is gone. And you're conspiring.
I'm a little confused. We'll get back to that. My research has nothing to do with Nazman, not at all.
But you're conspiring with somebody that
Let her
did
monologue.
Nazba in.
Shh, shh. Let her monologue. Let her tell us why she's guilty.
She waves a hand over to the tank on the side of the western wall. Look, you can see it right there, right? That's it. That's the key. Right there. I told you I was looking for sustainable ways to harvest alternative proteins. That's it. That right there. That is almost stable, a solid supply of meat for enough to feed an entire island. We can grow it rather than having to send our hunters off to die trying to harvest it off of monsters' corpses. Like, don't you see? This is the solution. We already have to ship off most of the food that we harvest to all the other nations. But now we can ship it off to Kisama, Dold, the whole rest of the world. I just need the authority to do this. And I need someone to acknowledge this without taking credit for it. And I won't get that so long as that idiot Blowhard is the guildmaster.
So what is your plan, to overthrow him?
Well, I was gonna say that over like 4 or 5 steps, but I guess, yeah, overthrow him.
And killing people is the way to do that? Partnering with Savi is the way to do that?
Who said anything about Savi?
You did.
No, she did.
We found a discrepancy in your story. You said that Savi was with you and Rare and when the explosion occurred, and that you left the dinner and all 3 of you went there. Funny, but none of our eyewitnesses saw Savi with you.
And that's I you know what? I think you're right. She wasn't allowed to go into the scene and must have been whisked away by her royal guard or some of the administrators or someone.
How convenient. Is there anything else about your story that you got wrong?
Probably. I don't know. I don't remember. I've barely slept since the last time we talked. I'm too busy trying to keep that thing under control. She points to the tank. Still a little unstable.
What is the main ingredient of this thing, and what is it?
Gobstopper fish.
I don't fully know yet. Think of this. Think of that tank sort of like a sourdough starter, right? The sort that, in order to really make the good stuff, to make a stable product, in this case, the protein, you have to just inject a little bit of that into there and let it grow and develop.
So it's fungus.
I'm sticking with sourdough starter. It fits the theme a little better, but
An excellent analogy, just like how you'd use blood magic to hire an assassin to murder your competition.
well, yeah.
Is that enough for you guys?
I want to
I-
shoot her.
At the very least, we know she's killing people.
Roll
Yeah.
initiative.
Or Diego, do you have a way to like zone of truth her or compel a confession somehow? She's only worth something to us alive if she can give us more information, and she doesn't seem to be very forthcoming with things we don't already know. Instead, just wanting to talk
Oh
about
man,
things
what
we
if we
already
just
got.
go, hey, you know what? This is a great idea. Why don't you just go out in the open and tell everybody about it? And then just charm her into just confessing.
Yeah, you seduce the dragon. She does add, though, there is a world for you where you help me finish this project. I will be guildmaster in no more than 3 years, and probably way sooner than that, once Rare is retired.
Over our
Ugh,
dead body.
I'll be dead by then.
Yeah. Multiverse theory says that there's an infinite number of worlds where almost any conceivable outcome is plausible. However, I suspect in most of those worlds, you die.
It didn't hurt to offer.
It's going to.
Best of luck to you then. And she, like in an instant, raises her shoulders and hands back up, and a colossal wave of that same, like, gross meat raises up in front of her, just splashing red goo all over the place. But also,
Roll meat shield.
she did kind of roll meat shield. But also just encasing that entire top area in meat. The splashings of that meat shield splatter all over this room, and the rumblings from it are evident immediately, with those drippings taking those same unpredictable, chaotic forms that you've seen before. And I know everybody's trigger fingers are super itchy, but I might actually hold off on this because it's 8:30 and there's no way we get through a combat.
Also, I don't know if we're supposed to see it, but we can see the health bar.
You are actually exactly supposed to see it.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
I even double checked that you could see the number there.
Nice.
But I'm going to add, before we end anything, that you could hear she is chanting something on the other side of that wall, like that sort of crazy fast muttering chanting that tells you that she's working on something fast.
Ooh, we better shut her up.
And with those inane arcane rumblings, I am going to end the session there.
Ooh,
Ooh.
starting with combat.
You know what? Actually, I'm going to end with one last thing of spawning a bunch of dudes just to kind of give you an idea of where we're going. Oh, not that one.
Well,
Hmm.
spoiler
Just
alert.
gonna- boop.
Hmm.
Oh, look, everything disappeared. That happens.
I can still see it.
What?
The big
can
gross
also
blood
see a-
monster. And the mine suckers.
From like the beginning of the campaign.
Oh, yeah. No, that's what you're supposed to see.
Oh, okay.
There's also a token off to the side We don't know what that is, but it looks cool.
What on earth?
It's like a big one. Do you see it?
I have no idea. What is that? Just
Also, the dragon.
Well, it's gone now. So
the dragon bones are supposed to be there. The blood creatures are supposed to be there, and I have to be a little careful about the things that I highlight in the GM layer. That happens.
Oh,
more.
That's
blood
what I was aiming
guys.
for.
Ugh.
oh boy.
Is this where
It's
you tell
gonna-
us we level up before our next fight?
Yeah, because that's what happens is you level up before fights.
We've done a lot of talking. Okay,
That's true. And I'm
we've
excited
gotten a lot
to.
of experience from talking.
I'm excited to hear that ding sound probably right after this
Nice.
battle ends.
Nice.
Future ding.
Yep. Pregrats.
Congrats, guys.
Congrats.
Bad.
If we survive.
In the meantime, that is the session. I am very happy with how this has gone. Hey, I don't think it's that hard for me to say now that we went in the right direction.
Yay! We did it.
I always believed in you.
We did it. We figured out the puzzle. We solved the mystery.
Well,
I
part
solved it
of
6
it.
hours ago.
We used your clues and we solved it.
That's the thing is, you guys knew who it was pretty quickly, just in the form of, oh, I hate this person a lot. And there was a point where you were saying, like, I don't like her, I'm going to shoot her. And I was like, that is actually the answer, I guess. But
When in doubt, shoot somebody.
I also didn't want to, promote rampant murder of high-ranking guild officials. But
Sometimes you just got to murder hobo.
the thing is, you did actually get here, like, using the puzzle in a way, like, actually not in a way, exactly how you were supposed to, and that made me really happy.
Yay.
Did it for you.
I actually believe that.
Hmm.
So, hey, the investigation is over, effectively, but now we're going to have some combat next time, because I know everybody's been a little excited for that. In the meantime, our next scheduled session is May 10th.
Okay.
2 weeks from today, and then actually I'm gonna look at the calendar that my girlfriend so lovingly made for me because I can't remember a date to save my life. But magically, the 24th, I am free, and then every other Friday for a while, I'm gonna be somewhere else.
Nice. Okay.
So great for this campaign, bad for my other one. But thank you guys very much. This has been a great session. I appreciate you all, and I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves.
Yeah, I look forward to putting our boot up May's butt next session.
Absolutely. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good
Good night.
night.